Hello everyone, Rudy Brixa here with MTGCardMarket.com. Going to be bringing you something a little bit different in case you can't see by the screen. I'm going to GP Las Vegas, so I will be skipping everything out next week, unfortunately. Going to be kind of busy, taking a little bit of a mini vacation. But the week after that is GP Cleveland, which is going to be a team-limited event. So doing some practice drafts and some sealeds to kind of get a better handle on it. If there's something that's really been my weak point in the past, it's definitely been my limited game. So I'm gonna kind of take these opportunities, and I figured maybe you can come through them with me, and you can tell me all the bad picks that I made and all the mistakes that I've made. But I have 3 trophies. No big deal. No big deal at all. So we'll be starting in just a second. I started the recording obviously a little early because I wasn't 100% sure how fast these were going to fill up and fire. Sometimes I jump in and it takes a few moments. Sometimes I jump in and it takes a really long time. So it looks like here it's taking kind of a long time. But so far, my experience in this format has kind of been, I've drafted these 2.5 color decks where I've been splashing for a 3rd bomb, and I've been feeling pretty good about those. But we'll kind of see what we'll open. Hoping for some bombs here. Hoping that that Glory Bringer, something that I don't have to make any decisions on. Rags to Riches is definitely an interesting one. Definitely an interesting one, and not really what I'm looking for. Pack 1, it could be really good though. I'm definitely interested in trying it. Decimator Beetle's really good, getting to put a -1/-1 counter on all of your opponent's creatures in green-black when you're playing cards like Splendid Agony is going to be pretty good. But it's definitely between these 2 gold color cards, and it could also be Unwavering Initiate too, kind of being the only white card in this pack means you're sending a pretty strong signal that your person to the left of you should stay out. So what do I want to do? It's either Decimator Beetle or it's either Rag to Riches, and I think I like green-black a little bit better, so I think I'm just going to take Decimator Beetle and hope to wield this Splendid Agony. Ooh, we got a Cut to Ribbons, and this pack is very strong. Cut to Ribbons, Vizier, a bunch of Cartouches, and a Cursed Minotaur. I'm going to take the Cut to Ribbons because I think Cut to Ribbons is the most powerful card in this pack. It has the highest upside too. We can splash. It looks like we're definitely going to be in black, so we're just going to be taking a bunch of black cards, but we could either splash green or red, or maybe green won't even make it and we could just be a black-red deck. But I think Cut to Ribbons is definitely a super powerful card. Early removal, late game fireball, never going to be a bad thing. Even Wind Guide's normally pretty good. Thresher Lizard I think is pretty good as well, and so is Magma Spray. Lots of really interesting cards to take here, and for me, I think it just might be Magma Spray. I think Thresher Lizard is very good, but removal's obviously super premium. Doom Dissenter is another reasonable card that we might want to wheel in this pack. Edifice is also potentially really powerful, but I like just kind of sticking with just a bunch of removal. Looks like green might be our splash color if we even decide to do it, but as of right now I'm not really going to be looking for any green cards, just kind of be looking for some powerful red, powerful black cards to kind of fill out the rest of my deck. It's important sometimes with draft not to get too locked in early, but definitely want to make sure that you get everything you need. Let's see. Interestingly enough, there's not really a lot of good cards here. Dune Beetle's okay. I think Hyena Pack is also reasonable. Watchers of the Dead is just kind of meh. Honored Crop Captain is a pretty powerful card, though. And we're not really locked in to, to any color right now, with the exception of red. We don't need to cast the other half of Ribbons, and this Decimator Beetle just might not even make the deck. I think Honored Crop Captain is just the most powerful card in this pack. We have passed a couple of interesting white cards that could be good, but I think that might be okay. So I think I'm going to take the Crop Captain with this pack. The rest of the pack is just kind of weak as it is. And this pack is actually pretty interesting. We could take a Vizier. Vizier's pretty good during combat. Could take Final Reward or Splendid Agony and kind of move back into black if I wanted to, or I could just kind of concede and kind of move into white right now. The only problem with moving into white is we've definitely passed a few white cards already, and opponent to the right of us, person to the right of us is going to be pretty well aware of that. Question is this white card going to be good enough that I'm going to want to take it? I think I might. But Final Reward and Splendid Agony are also pretty good. There's definitely a lot of black. Black looks like it's going to be super open, and I'm definitely okay with that. And I think I might just stick with the black. Kind of cut this. Merciless Javenier is a great card, and it looks like there's no white in this pack, so I do feel kind of okay taking that. I don't mind taking this. Just because, like, if this was not a Swiss draft, this is not a deck that I would really want to play against anyway. But I'm going to take the Javelier because Javelier is very good. Ooh, Pyramid of the Pantheon. Has Pantheon in the name, so it has to be good. But I think I'm going to take Wandering Death. Wandering Death is going to pair very well with all my creatures. The Cyclone's always going to be relevant. This is a card that I definitely want. And this is a pretty reasonable pack. Eberhorn Minotaur is going to be pretty powerful. Brute Strength is not too bad as a combat trick. Not really what I'm looking for, but I definitely think I want this Eberhorn Minotaur. I'm not really a fan of this monument. Giant Spider's like okay. Dissenters is okay. I think I might just take this Pursue Glory. Yeah, I think I'm just going to take Giant Spider, just in case we do end up in green in some fashion. I may want this Giant Spider where, we can replace that pretty easily. Charioteer is not bad at all. Could be pretty powerful, and if we do end up splashing green, this might be another card that I wouldn't mind splashing green for. But as I kind of said when when this whole thing started, this happens to me a lot, where I just play these 2.5 color decks. I'm gonna take the Kudu. I don't mind, playing even green black and splashing red here either. So not really locked into any one of these as the splash color, but definitely have a lot of options available, and we can kind of see what these next couple of packs bring to kind of tie the room together. May have mentioned this. Limited is my weak point, so if you do disagree with me, be sure to let me know. Be sure to let me know what you think I should have done, because I'd love the advice. Definitely would love the advice there. This is definitely one of those slower ones. I'm going to take the Violent Impact. Full Art Mountain, kind of neat. Not really relevant here, but we got one anyway. Very lucky. Very lucky. It's worth nothing on the Magic the Gathering's online, but it feels good. Well, Pull From Tomorrow is a pretty big bomb here. Pretty unfortunate that we didn't take the Rags to Riches, because taking Rags to Riches into Pull From Tomorrow might have been pretty good, but everything was kind of weak. So I definitely don't mind not taking it. Watchful Naga's alright, and Doomed Dissenter's alright. Although I think I'm going to take the Watchful Naga, and I think we might start moving into green-red and splashing black for Cut to Ribbons and Decimator Beetle. I don't mind having either of those. Merciless Javenier is also a pretty good reason to be black. I think that card's just very good. If we can pick up a Ruthless Sniper at some point, we can kind of pay 3 mana to put 2 -1/-1 counters on any creature, or even split it up. Wow, Cut to Ribbons, Decimator Beetle, and a Cartouche of Ambition, Electrify, Wasteland Scorpion. This pack is great, but I'm going to take the Cut to Ribbons. Cut to Ribbons, I think, is just going to be great. I definitely don't mind having 2. That's for sure. So I'm going to take that. Wow, Honored Hydra is a great pickup here, and that definitely is going to kind of solidify us in green. Scaled Behemoth is definitely a card that I also like. Champion Aronis is okay, but it's definitely never going to be great. Cursed Minotaur is also good, but as I said, we're probably going to be red-green and splashing black for some of these cards. Wandering Death, I don't mind splashing for, because it's good in the late game, but it's also okay in the early game to cycle. Merciless Javenier, Decimated Beetle, and Cut to Ribbons are also cards that I'm pretty happy to have. Quarry Hole is actually a pretty nice pickup here. I could take Nest of Scarabs. It does pair well with Javanalier and Decimator Beetle. Ooh, that's actually pretty interesting. But because I think we want black to just be the splash color, I don't want to like have something that I really need that mana for super early. So I think I'm just going to take the Quarry Hole. Pairs well with all of our -1/-1 counters anyway. Let's see here. Looks like I got another Charioteer, which I definitely don't mind having at all. Well, Oracle's Vault is actually pretty interesting here. We are kind of a slower deck with a bunch of removal, so maybe Oracle's Vault actually is pretty reasonable here. Fling could also be pretty reasonable. We do have some big idiots, and Fling and Honored Hydra is pretty good, but I think we're likely to replace Fling, and I'm interested in trying out Oracle's Vault. As I said, you know, kind of starting to learn the draft format. I want to see what kind of cards are playable and what really isn't. Pretty weak pack. I'm gonna take Tormenting Voice. Might be able to make use out of it. We're very unlikely to make use out of anything else. Maybe we'll make use out of Pouncing Cheetah, but you know, because this is Swiss, you know, we're not really gonna take cards to hate on other people. This is not really gonna do anything. Desert Ceradon's not bad. Brute Strength is also gonna be pretty good. It's just a combat trick. I don't think we really need too many more expensive cards. Splendid Agony, picking up a second one actually might not be the worst. Just because just having a ton of removal in this deck might be pretty reasonable. So I'm going to take the Splendid Agony as a kind of just in case. Pack's kind of weak, and Brute Strength is pretty unlikely to make it in this deck. I guess we'll just hate on this Essence Scatter. Take a Shed Weakness. Might make use out of that. Probably pretty unlikely, but I'd rather have it than not. And Nest of Scarabs came back, so that's going to go right in. It's definitely a weird draft, that's for sure, but it's definitely looking like we're going to be a slow deck, so I'm definitely going to be looking for a lot more early things to play. Wow, Vizier is just very good, and now I'm fully getting punished for not being in blue based on the 3 rares that I've opened. But Cartouche of Ambition is going to be pretty good as well. Yeah, it's definitely pretty important. Definitely getting hard punished here for not taking Rags to Riches. Maybe Rags to Riches is just good, and I'm a fool. I think I might just take this this Cartouche of Ambition. It's going to be pretty good against and all the early turns. Sandworm Convergence is interesting. It's not really something that I'm looking for here. I don't really need any more expensive cards or ways to win the game, but I am going to actually take this Painted Bluffs, and I'm going to take it because we do need to be able to splash pretty effectively, and Painted Bluffs is going to be pretty helpful with that. So I'm going to take it. There is a Merciless Javanir in here, but it's kind of our splash color, so I'm not super worried about it. Cartouche of Strength is definitely a card I want in this deck. Gifted Paradise is also something that I'm going to want, so I'm going to hope that wheels because it's going to help fix a lot of our mana. But we definitely want this Cartouche. The Cartucci is just one of the best cards. Electrify is pretty good. Cartouche of Zeal's alright. We could take another Painted Bluffs as well, but I think I'm just going to take Electrify because, as I said earlier, we are going to be kind of a slow deck, so I'm just going to want a ton of removal here. And our 3-drop is already kind of locked up with this. I don't really think we want this this red Cartouche here, but maybe this red Cartouche is good. But as I said, I kind of just want to have a bunch of removal in my deck. Naga Vitalist is also going to be great in this deck. I'm going to take it over this Cartouche because it's definitely going to be necessary. Perfect. Have a Gifts of Paradise. Gift of Paradise is definitely something that I'm looking for. Watchful Naga is also a card that I like, but we already have one, and I really want to make my mana work. And it's definitely looking like we're going to be a 17 land deck for sure. I actually might end up playing this Tormenting Voice because you just have like so many expensive things to do and I want something cheap. Manticore is actually pretty reasonable. Just another way for us to deal some damage to our opponent. Also just like kind of like a beefy creature that I don't mind playing. Painted Bluffs #2 is something that I might want, but I think I'd rather have the Manticore. But I think we're not really a Nest of Scarabs deck. We do have some things to play with it, but we don't have enough. Take another Quarry Hauler, although I'm pretty unlikely to play it. I don't mind taking a Dissenter's Deliverance. It's just going to be good early and going to be good late. Just nice cycle. I'm going to cut this Cartouche to Giant Spider. There's another card that I might want at some point. Not sure how much I'm supposed to go deep into black, but I think Wanderer, Decimator, Merciless, and the Cut to Ribbons are probably more than enough. Definitely wish I had a couple more, you know, early things to play, but I guess these Cut to Ribbons could technically just count as 2, and you know, then our curve just looks infinitely better. Minotaur Sure Shot's not a terrible card. I'm not sure if I want the second Gifts of Paradise or if I want a 2/3 that's just gonna give me a ton of time. I think I just might want this 2/3 that's just gonna give me a ton of time. Gifts of Paradise is definitely not bad either. Not bad either. I think I'm just gonna take the Sure Shot though. Haze of Pollen. I don't mind having a couple of those in the sideboard for all the aggro decks. Oh wow, and another full art land. How very fortunate. How very fortunate we are. I think we're more likely to want Giant Spider just because it's going to block a lot more effectively, but maybe this is better just because it trades. So I think that's probably better. I think this might be just. I think this just might be the deck. So let's add some. Let's add this Painted Bluffs in first, and then we'll add some basic lands. I don't think we're gonna need that many swamps. That's for sure. I think 2 swamps is probably more than enough. You know, 3 black sources for this is probably all right. So I have Naga Vitalist and Gift of Paradise. So I think that's where I want to be. All right, I'll be back in just a little minute, and we'll see what I can do with this deck.